Ladies and gentlemen, support for this podcast is brought to you by xbrain.co.uk for all of your supplementation needs, whether it's protein, collagen protein, many mushroom potions. xbrain.co.uk. Enter promo code Fighting Words at the checkout to save 30% off your order. Support for this podcast is also brought to you by Market Squawk, powered by livesquawk.co.uk. All of your on-demand data needs are covered. Pay as you go, any asset class, low latency, you cover it. Market Squawk. Anyway, now we are brought. Tonight is an absolute treat because we have Jordan the Thrill Gill. Now, let's be real, mate. Very rarely do we ever get to speak to an elite boxer that survives one of the most iconic WWF moves live in a fight for a European title where, like, that happened. And I was filming the TV at the time and I sent it to him and I went, this shit is unreal. Like, so thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad that I survived the DDT as well. And I'm still here to and living to tell the tale. So yeah, it was a mad night, a mad fight, and I think it's one that's going to live in the memories of people for a long time.
Oh,
I mean, you
fight.
struggle to name a better comeback than that in history. Like, that was insane. That fight was incredible.
Yeah, I think it was a fight that had everything in it. It was a fight that I think it was always going to be a good fight, and I think it surpassed expectations from everyone.
For sure.
Which is saying a lot because, like you said, it was always going to be a fantastic fight. To then pass it, Jesus. Respect, bro. Respect.
And I think a lot of people were writing Gurphy off before the fight, and I always knew it was going to be a hard fight because he's really motivated. I thought if he thought that if he beat me that he'd get a world title fight, and he probably would have done. So for him at that stage of his career, coming up a weight too, he said after the fight, he said that's the best he's ever felt because he's come up the weight. He felt strong and motivated and fit. So I knew it would be a hard fight, and then at the same time, everything that could have gone wrong for me went wrong. So I had a knee injury, both my ears were perforated. I had no balance because of that. Obviously, I had a hand injury for a long time anyway. So it was one of them fights where I was down on the scorecards, I had no balance, and I had to find the shot, and I did.
It was phenomenal. It really was, right? If that doesn't, we do our end of years, and that only because your boy Lee had, probably fight of the year. That's our domestic fight of the year right there. Like, name something on this soil that I just can't see it. Like, it was an amazing fight, truly amazing. And like for you, like there's no great. Like, you've always been a fantastic fighter. Like, everyone has always said, your style it's just a beautiful style to watch. You are a true like boxer puncher. It's amazing to watch. But to have those, unfortunately, very dramatic fights is just like the fans warm to it, right?
I think it's the case where when you win, they want to see more. Like, you can never really win as a fighter. If you box someone's head off for 12 rounds, they say, "Oh, you can't punch." If you knock somebody out in one round, they say, "Oh, yeah, but he's got no fitness. So if he went late, you wouldn't." You know what I mean? So it's one of them fights where if you have to dig in and you have to show something that you don't have to usually show, then I think it resonates with people in the way that, like, they just show a lot of respect for you because I never thought that I'd be revered for a tough guy because of my boxing style, and it's something that I'd never expected. But I knew that I'm tough, but obviously everyone else doesn't. So it's a case where I don't really want to show it, but sometimes in life that you have to dig down, you have to show that you're tough, and that was my night to show it, and I think a lot of people tip the hat and said respect because a lot of people would have folded.
For sure. And like, more power to you. I know we had a little bit of a bants about the DDT, but honestly, that fucking ironed you. That was awful. Like, when that
Where on the head?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you would, like, you could see the arm win. It was true WWF style. Like, I was just like, that's not all right. What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
I was fine. I don't know what all the fuss was about.
Yeah. Hey, who knew that it even worked?
I think he knew exactly what he was doing as well, because obviously that was around that he dropped me, and you could see I was still slippery after he dropped me, so he's sort of trying to pile on the pressure, but he's missing, and he's sort of panicking and thinking, I need to finish him this round, otherwise, it might, I don't know, that he saw his opportunity, and I think he sort of knew what he was doing. He fell backwards, he had me in a headlock, and what happened. So
it's
a case where I felt the whole weight of my body land on my head, and then before I know it, I was back on my feet, and I had to get on with the rest of the round, and come back stronger. So yeah, it was mad, and to get through that, and to get through the knockdown, to get through both perforated eardrums and the hand injury, the knee injury, like from the start with the knee, it was the case where I was getting hit with shots where I wouldn't normally get hit with, just because I wasn't able to get around the sides of him, or get off the line as quick as possible, after I'd done my attacks. And that sort of changed the course of the fight from the off. So it was an uphill battle, to say the least. But tough roads lead to beautiful destinations, and we got there in the end, and I become European champion, which is something that I've been wanting for a long time.
And couldn't be harder earned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's Eddie talking about next then?
I'm not sure. So obviously I've just had my hand operated on, which I'm glad to get done and out of the way. I wanted a big fight so I could get it done, and have a bargaining tool, which is the European title. So I can say to Eddie, look, I'll be ready August, I'll be ready September, whatever, and we can say I've got a mandatory now. So I've got the mandatory. He's an Italian guy. He's 18-0 or 16-0, something like that. So that's a good fight. That's a good fight to come back with, from a hand up and straight into the mix again. So I think we'll probably stay at European level for 1 or 2 fights, possibly a world title eliminator, and then go for the big one.
Do you have a preference?
I mean, a boxer's preference is to go straight for a world title. For every boxer turns pro and wants to become world champion. But it's a case where you have to, everything in boxing is timing, and I know I'm good enough, and I know I'll get there. It's just when. So we got to navigate our route, the best way possible to give ourselves the best chance of winning it and keeping hold of it for a long time. So I'm confident we'll get there, but I don't know. I don't know how the situation is going to play out. And this yourself, boxing, professional boxing is not a sport; it's a business, and it's all maintenance to Eddie and the managers and everyone like that. So it's all up in the air at the moment. I mean, for me, I'm happy either way. If they presented Mark Magsayo or the winner of Mark Magsayo and Ray Vargas for the WBC title, I'd take that. I'd grab that opportunity with both hands.
Of course.
But at the same time, if they say, look, defend the European title, we'll get an eliminator and then get a world title shot, then I'm happy either way, because look at the world champions, they're all in their 30s. I'm 27. I've still got time on my side. I know I'm coming into my prime now. It's I'm not an old man yet, and I'm still learning, and I'm still improving. I think whilst I'm still improving, whilst I'm still learning in the gym, there's no need to rush. But at the same time, you want that gold.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a preference of which belt you go for? Do you go for the green, the red, the black, or the maroon?
I mean, for me, a world title is a world title. But I like the if Ray Vargas wins against Mark Magsayo, which I think he could, I'd love that fight. That's a great fight for the WBC world title against a good Mexican. And if not, the Filipino Mark Magsayo, I think he's managed by Pacquiao.
Yeah.
That's a good fight as well. So yeah, the WBC would be nice. I know Warren's just got the IBF, but he's got a mandatory in Luis Alberto Lopez, so that's another interesting fight. So, it might be a case we have to wait and see what the situation
how it all unfolds.
Yeah.
Also, like, how must he be shitting himself about another unknown Latin entity that's going to come over to fight him? Like, he's got to be still a little bit gun shy from. He's redeemed himself a bit, but still.
I think he will be, and rightly so. And if anything, Lopez isn't as unknown as Lara was. because he's been over, he's knocked out Isaac Lowe, he's, you know, beat a couple of top ranked prospects in great fashion as well. So if anything, he's, you know, boxing wise, he's probably more dangerous than Lara. And you know, sometimes being unknown is, having an opponent that's unknown is a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing, because you know, we know that Lopez is good. We know that he poses a massive threat. We know that he can punch with both hands. He's unorthodox and throws from funny angles. So, you know, that playing on Warrington's mind after the Lara incident might be a bad thing. Maybe it'd be better for him if Lopez was unknown. But you know, I can't see him fighting Lopez. I think they'll try and avoid that, possibly. Obviously, he's got an injury at the moment. He's got the jaw to heal up, but he'll possibly, you know, look for unification to get a fight instead of the Lopez fight. But you know, if he fights in fair play, and it'd be a great fight.
I mean, he didn't seem that keen, did he, on fighting Lee? When it was brought up, like obviously it's in the heat at the moment, which is a little bit dark to jump on someone in front of your entire home crowd with a broken jaw. But he just he didn't seem that fussed about it. He just was happy to do his own thing and just said, "I want Vegas."
Yeah, and you know, I don't blame him, because stylistically, I think Lee Wood is all wrong for Warrington. I think Lee Wood knocks him out, and no disrespect to Warrington, because he's a great champion and he's been there and he's done it now. So he's two-time world champion, and you know, I think selfishly we want to see him fight Lee Wood. I think everybody wants to see that fight because it's all British unification. But at the same time, I think he does deserve his day in Vegas. He deserves his America fight, and you know, to give his Leeds fans an away day. So, you know, in one sense, I think he deserves it, and he's earned it. But in another sense, selfishly, I want to see him fight Lee. But I do think Lee knocks him out, and I think deep down probably Warrington knows that, because you look at, you know, the guy they lost to, Lara. He's a massive puncher, and Lee's biggest attribute probably, you know, obviously he's got a lot of attributes, but you know, Lee's power is massive for the featherweight division. So I think Warrington knows that, and he'll be wary.
Is it true he borrowed your belt after he beat Zucan? He had to like go to the stadium, and he didn't. They hadn't sent him his belt yet. I'm sure he said that he borrowed yours.
I had I've got the WBA International, and still waiting for his WBA title to be delivered. So you know, he was going to a forest, and he needed a belt. So I said, yeah, no worries, just come up, or I can't remember where I picked, or whether I dropped it off or he picked it up. But either way, like it looked like from a crowd, like
from the crowd,
what a difference. They're both.
Yeah, I've got one behind me. Hold on. On that side, well, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
it is. That one. Yeah. Decent. So you, obviously, you and Lee are boys. If that opportunity came up, business is business, obviously. Is that something you would be up for, or is it just like, it's my friend?
No, that's the thing. It's not even like we're friends. It's a little bit more than that, because of what we've been through, and like we lived together for like 7 years, so it's more of a brothership than a friendship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I'd do anything for Lee, and he'd do anything for me. And you know, he's helped me in hard times, and I've helped him, obviously. So, you know, it's been deeper than that, and I think Lee wants the big fights now. He wants unifications. He wants, you know, he probably in another fight or two time, he'll want his away day in America as well. So, you know, let him do his thing. And obviously, we both say the same thing when people say, "Oh, would you fight each other?" I say Eddie's not got a big enough check to pay. So, yeah, I mean, there's 4 titles. There's opportunity for everyone. I think. Lee's been ordered to fight Santa Cruz
he has
reduced
brilliant fight that is
titles, which is brilliant. So I hope Santa Cruz takes it. Okay, but I think they've got 30 days to negotiate, so we'll see.
I'd love to see that fight. It'd be amazing to see, especially if Eddie does his magic and gets Santa Cruz over here to the stadium, gives Lee what he's promised. Like, that's massive. Like, huge respect.
That would be epic, mate. I'd love
it. Would it?
And like I was saying the other day, like from where we've come from, and to see him where he is now just makes me so proud, because you know, I've been there when he's been beat, or like, well, I remember when he boxed Gavin McDonald for the British title years and years ago. You know, everyone sort of he lost that fight, you know, and we know why he lost that fight. He shouldn't have been a super bantam, and he was inexperienced. And you know, this is boxing, you do lose, but you know, we lost that fight, and it was just me and him left. Everyone left us. You know, we went back to the hotel, and I stayed with him that night. And you know, obviously, I felt gutted for him. And he was gutted himself, and he said to me, you know, the other night when we was at the Warrington fight, he said to me, you know, if you didn't stay with me that night, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been, you know, in a bad way, in worse for wear. So, you know, and at the same time, you know, when I've had struggles in my life, he's been there for me. So, you know, to see where he's come from, where I've come from, both got the hard way on small hall shows, trying to sell tickets, and you know, sometimes in fights that people don't expect us to win and stuff like that. So to see him on the biggest stage as a world champion, you know, we're both between us, we won British, Commonwealth, European, and world titles now, and it just makes me, I'm so proud of him. Sitting in the ringside and watching him fight Conlan, and being the level of fight it was the best fight. It's the best fight I've ever seen in in person.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like we said the same. Like there's, it's hard to pick out of the Rolodex a better fight. I'm not saying that's the best fight. I'm not saying it's the greatest fight ever. I'm saying find me a better fight. Right? You're talking about the champion knockdown cold first round, and then he finishes it by punching the geezer out of the ring. Come on now, in front of his home lot.
And the quality of the action all the way through. You know, say hats off to Michael Conlan as well, because Conlan was, you know, he was brilliant. He was really technically good, and Lee had that in him where he was in front of his home crowd. They was all cheering him. You know, he had to bring it home to Nottingham, and he did, and he found a way. And that's what champions do. That's what it takes to become a championship fighter, to be world class. You know, when your back's against the wall, when you know the odds are against you, you're down on the card. You've been down. You know, you're fighting an elite fighter.
You got no eardrums.
That's you got no eardrums. Yeah.
I mean, forget about me. You know, he smashed it, mate. He done so well, and to see him fight Santa Cruz, or to fight anybody, he could fight Postman Pat, to sell out that Nottingham Forest. I think he would do it. He'd sell it out against anybody, and I will be sitting there ringside, you know, with a massive smile on my face, just thinking, "You've smashed it, mate." And you know, what more can you want?
No way you could get on that card, or would it just be? It's not, time wise wouldn't work.
I mean, depends when it is. Isn't it? If it's August, there's a possibility I could get on it. You know, if it's July, I don't think I've got a chance. You know, probably mid-August, maybe end of August, I might be ready. But we'll see when I take this pot off my hand. We'll see what it's looking like and what the physios are saying.
What did they actually have to do? What was the injury in the end?
So the CMCJ joint, which is like all across the carpal tunnel there, on like the top of the wrist, in the middle of the hand, that was all open and, you know, all misformed and misshaped and stuff. So they actually had to do a bone graft from a hip. They had to file down the whole, you know, bone in the hand. They had to pack in the bone from a hip and staple it all together, seal it all up, and so it fuses together. So that's actually going to be fusing for the next, you know, well, probably for the next couple of months, but you know, it should start fusing now and be stronger than ever.
Fuck it. So just a small operation then?
Yeah, just tiny one.
Yeah. I went to a surgeon, you know, he's a private surgeon. He's one of the best in the country. He's done, you know, no end of famous boxers' hands. And he said, you know, he doesn't really do a bigger operation than this. So it was a big one. Wow. Well, I needed it, you know, for two and a half years. My hand was just in agony every day, every single day, punching with it, sparring. I couldn't throw it 100%, and you know, I had to save it for fight night.
Jesus Christ, and you did.
Yeah,
mate, you proper did. Like, honestly, it's still buzzing. Absolutely, just one of the most immense fights out there. Like, with the eardrums gone, how bad? Because you know, we've all been banged in the ear before. We've all done a little bit of damage to an eardrum, and it's uncomfortable, and it makes weird noises, and it mucks about your head a little bit. But having two completely ruptured eardrums in the middle of a fight Mate, how bad was that?
It's not ideal, is it?
No, definitely not. Suboptimal, one might say.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously had perforated eardrums before, like you said, you know, it's quite common, and usually it's like a shh, like a sound in your ear, and you know, it's not too painful, is it? But it's just, you know, uncomfortable, and then you got that sound. But you know, to have both go, I've never had it before where my balance goes, and that was like a new thing to deal with for me, like because both, I think maybe because both went, that's when the balance went, or maybe just because the ruptures were that big that that's why the balance went. But you know, imagine standing up on a canoe or like on a surfboard. That's what it was like, and it was just a sensation that I've never dealt with before. So you know, had to be done.
Is it something that you can, like, you've come even in the same realm as in training?
Not really, because you know, one of the first things I said to Eddie in the ring, I said, I've got a good chin, because obviously when I got dropped, I was more off balance than anything. That's why I got straight up. So I said to Eddie the first thing, because obviously as a fighter, you got pride, and it's embarrassing if you get dropped. So I said to Eddie, I've got a good chin, mate. It's my eardrums, like I've got no balance, because I've never been dropped with a headshot in sparring or in my whole life in fights, whatever. Because you know, usually when you like, I've seen people get rocked in sparring. I've never really had that feeling. I've never had that sensation. And obviously I didn't in the fight either. But I can imagine if you get hit and that's what it'd feel like. But just because, so I'm actually that weak that I've got wobbly legs without getting hit.
Mate, behave. Behave. Guys, what did you do? What was the first thing you did after that? So obviously, you know, you got one hand, one knee, no ears, but European title. What were you doing? You going straight on holiday? Did you just chill for a bit and just hope everything just calms down?
What did I do? I did book a holiday.
Yeah.
But I booked it. I made sure, because I didn't know. Obviously, I knew I had a lot of media stuff to do after the fight. I didn't expect it to blow up, you know, the way that it did. But I knew I'd have
like Jake the Snake sending you a personal message.
Yeah, that was crazy. But I knew I had lots to do, so I knew I didn't want to go on holiday the first week, so I can get all my stuff that I needed to do done. So I was going to book it for the second week, but then I would have missed Lee's fight, and I was adamant on being ringside for Lee's fight that I booked it for the third week. So I went straight from Lee's fight to the airport. I went from Nottingham Arena to Manchester Airport, and I went to Canary Islands for a week. But you know, straight after the fight, they made me go because of the ears. They didn't, like, obviously knew that they're perforated, but they said obviously there might be damage to my eye because my eye was swelling up as well. They said they wanted to check that I didn't have like a orbital fracture, so they sent me to the hospital straight away, straight from the arena. And the scan said everything was fine. Which, you know, when you know your body, you know that I knew I was fine anyway, because I just swell up quite easily. So I went straight from the arena to the hospital. Went straight from the hospital to the bar in the O2, and there was just last orders. And obviously, I don't drink anyway, so I just had a Diet Coke, but I was just sat there in sunglasses, and everyone was there, and we just had a little party with the Matchroom lot and my team, and yeah, went home the next day and laid in bed for about 2 days, just replying to messages on my phone and stuff, and that's, you know, obviously the glitz and the glamour you see on TV. It's not like that in real life. You know, I've got a picture of me in bed with 2 black eyes and a fat nose, just holding a teddy bear wearing my European title. My phone. So yeah,
it sounds like an opportunity for a calendar if ever I've heard one. Honestly,
I've probably got a picture, 12 pictures for every month of the year for Valentine's Day. Maybe that's a good money making scheme for Christmas.
How was it? Because you had quite a long gap, didn't you? So you had the technical draw, and then was it like a year nearly, wasn't it, or over a year?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't box. I boxed in February 2020 or 2021, sorry. And that was against Juarez, the Mexican who you know, he's a good fighter. So I boxed Juarez, and then I didn't box from February all the way till December.
Yeah.
And obviously I only got 2.5 rounds up because I got the head clash. So then moved straight from that into the European.
It's decent. Was it? I mean, after that, the technical draw, was that? I mean, was you just wounded about that? Did you not want to get that done, dusted, and like run again.
It was annoying, but it's the case where, you know, a technical draw, it sounds bad that it's a draw, but, you know, it was a fight that I was winning every second of every round. And it was a case where if in England it's called a technical draw, but if it was in Mexico or if it was in America, it'd be a no contest.
No
so
contest,
like,
yeah.
No one really cares. And like my career is not going to be defined by that draw, is it? So for me, if it was a case of rematching him in an 8-rounder for what it was, which was just a keep busy fight, or going into the European title fight, which was the next fight, then for me
it'd be a tough choice.
Straight to European, yeah.
No, the only reason I ask is like a technical draw is such a you don't see it often at all. Like it's a very niche one where you just you have that on the record. You're like, I want to get rid of that, or at least exit out.
It's annoying, but at the same time, I think maybe the British Boxing Board control should change him to no contest, because then it'd take that stigma away. And I think maybe the stigma is getting less as time goes on. It's not like I'm an unbeaten fighter. I've got the one loss on my record anyway. So a draw and a loss, you know, for me, it doesn't really matter. I want to be in big fights. I want to win a world title. And, you know, I don't think any of the world champions are unbeaten. Oh, Mark McSayer is unbeaten, but the rest of them aren't unbeaten. So it's the case where, you know, no one really cares anymore about unbeaten records. I think
absolutely.
You know, the era, everyone just wants to see big fights. Nobody asks me what my record is. Everyone says, "Who did you fight last?" or "Who you fighting?"
Yeah.
And that's what people care about now. And I think, you know, the UFC has been a great example of that. People just want to see big fights.
Yeah, Sonny Edwards referred to it as he said a record with character. He's like, you know, you have a couple of losses, you could maybe have a draw, maybe one no contest. He's like, it's people just want to see, and it's true. As fans, everyone just wants to see good fights. I don't care about people having their zero. If someone has actually got their zero and they've been in epic fights, like a Crawford or whatever, respect.
Yeah,
you know.
It's like you said at the start, you can't win. Like if you blow people out, you fight cans. When you've got the best fighting the best, someone has to lose. And like you said, the fans win by a good fight. Someone lose, who gives a shit? You know, there'll be a better fight that comes from it. And that's exactly which is why, like, love Floyd. But around that era, it seemed that the O was everything and people were avoiding fights that potentially they should, not him, but other people, to keep that O. It's great for boxing that that's no longer a thing. And like you said, just have the best fighting the best. And that's what people care about.
Definitely. I think Floyd was a phenomenon because you look at his resume, what everyone did, everybody that was put in front of him, he just beat, and he found a way. So, you know, I don't think there's going to be another one of him, you know, anytime soon. But,
and people still mug him off, still mug off his record, still mug off everything. And it's just like, what's everyone else supposed to do if you're mugging off Floyd?
Exactly. That's what I mean. You know, you haven't got a chance as a fighter. You're always going to be criticized. There's always going to be somebody saying something. And I was having the same conversation with Lee the other day. I said to him, I can't even remember what we was talking about. I think it might have been the Santa Cruz fight. You know, I said to him, obviously, everyone, because he's saying, oh, people are saying that Santa Cruz will beat me. And I said, yeah, everyone will say Santa Cruz will beat you. But then when you beat him, they'll say, oh, yeah, but he's come up from bantamweight. So I said, you can't fucking win. So, you know, what's the point in trying? You just got to treat the good comments like the bad comments. Just acknowledge them and just get rid of them. So it's all the same as, you know, at the end of the day, the way I see it is at the end of your career, it's going to be about 5 people that you still talk to in boxing. And
fact.
You know, if say I get, you know, knocked out in my next fight and, you know, I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, who's going to wheel me around?
Heaven help. Look, we're all touching wood right now.
Yeah, I'm touching wood as well. But, yeah, you know, it's only your family that's going to be there wheeling you about, mate.
For sure. Jordan, I know you've got a hard out, and this was an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it, and can't wait to see you back out in August, September time.
All healed and with all the eardrums back in place and the hands ready to
maybe
rock.
with the big hair again, because that was big.
I'm going to be, I don't know what the hairstyle is going to be like, but I'm going to be like a bionic man. I'm going to have new ears, new hands. The knees going to be good. Everything's going to be, you know, all gravy, baby. And I'm going to have a sexy outfit, going to come out to a big tune and put on a good performance. And after the fight, I'll come on the podcast. We'll have a big one.
Boom. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks so much, champ.
All the best. Speak to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great night, bro.
Bye-bye.